Okay, so here we are back at Empire of the Sun. I've taken care of the first operations in a turn, well, not operations, but the first factors in the sequence of play. First, the reinforcement phase, because I did the strategic phase as a whole. For reinforcements, all the Allied forces go in here. One air unit, because we're on the zero box where the war in Europe is still viewed as very important. So everything is delayed for at least a turn. And one of the US planes was diverted to Europe. The Japanese, on the other hand, get their reinforcements immediately. The biggest is the Yamato. Got an infantry unit, and I think that's it. They may have gotten a plane, but I don't remember placing. There we go. Got myself a plane there. I'm not sure I need that there. I'm not sure where else I could put it, though. That would be of more use. Possibly down here. Hard to tell. Anyway, I'll leave it where I got it. Then I did the replacement segment. This is generated off this replacement chart. It's just fixed values unless some cards modify it. The Allies got 2 ground units, 2 ground points, 5 air, 1 U.S. naval. These allow you a step gain. U.S. naval definitely could be gotten, and I picked up a point on one of my carriers, the Enterprise, of course, to go where no man has gone before, or something like that. And I believe the rest were lost because all the units that took damage were single dot units. These kind of things, they can't be replaced. So, and that's fitting. I'm not sure why they get points in the first turn, but in case something gets killed, it's fine. Then strategic warfare segment. What happened here was the U.S. rolls a die, subtracts the number of the turn. In the case of these first turns, this little torpedo here indicates they get a +1 penalty. And if they roll less than 0, the Japanese get 1 less card. Japanese didn't get 1 less card. Their base is 7 because it's in the first 4 turns where they have this advantage. The U.S., on the other hand, gets only 5 cards, or the Allies, and they're going to get 2 passes, which means twice, instead of playing a card, they're able to not play a card if they wish. This is in addition to saving a card for the future offensives if they want to do that, if either side wants to do that. The Japanese should have the initiative unless the U.S. had something under here, which they don't. So, well, we'll start seeing what they do here, and hopefully I won't make too much of a fool of myself. Okay, so I'm on my own here at this point, and the Japanese have the initiative. I've decided, you can see I've already moved some pieces, the most important thing to do at this point is to finish the Philippines off, or to begin finishing them off. The reason for this is that I look at the reinforcements that are coming, and while it would really suck for Singapore to be reinforced heavily, perhaps, there's not a lot of space there to continue reinforcing it. So, and then I look and say, wow, about the last thing I want is for the U.S. to be able to bring all of its reinforcements in. And not that it necessarily has a lot coming up, but throughout the game, it's going to be the major reinforcer. This far into my zone of influence, as it is. You know, I mean, I need to knock the U.S. out of this position, this forward position, because that's just too powerful a location for them to be allowed to exist. And so they become the primary objective for me. I looked through the Japanese cards, wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to play. I had a nice card here, Operation KA, which has a logistics value of 4, which would allow me to activate more units, and I'll explain that in a moment. But it also had this Allied tactical confusion. U.S. aircraft carrier naval units may have their attack strength reduced by 2 for the duration of this offensive. That sounds like it could be very useful if, in the unlikely, I may want to put that as a future offensive actually, but it could be very useful if I want to handle those carriers. Right now, I just don't want to throw that card away this early. It sounds really, really valuable. So it's very unlikely I'm going to get to hit those carriers, but maybe by turn 2 or turn 3, they'll be out there or whatever. At least I'll have that card in place. Now, it's very important to do a lot now, but I also don't want to risk that card. And I haven't made my mind up yet on it. We'll see how different other actions go. But this one's a 3-point operations. So I activate this headquarters. It's got a 3 effectiveness. I add 3 for the operations. And I'm going to conduct actions as follows. I activated 1, 2, 3 planes. So I've got 6 things total, right? 3 planes. Oh, that doesn't work. I put too much power in here. So let me change this. It's got to be within range 13 of this. So I've got 1, 2, 3. I want this definitely 4. 5. Do I need another ship? Or do I need another? How big are these? Okay. Let's send the big old Yamato or Nagato out there for 6. Okay. Because that's the biggest combination I'm going to have of total firepower. This allows me. I actually probably want to throw that. Oh no, I got the planes there. Okay. Now, the U.S. may want to react. And let me see. They have only 1 reaction card, which is this. Before combat. Alright, I'm gonna actually play this. It doesn't change the initiative. So right now this is still surprise, but it does give me a chance to hit that big old battleship. And let's see if we succeed in that. 2. So we did, Japanese lose a step. We're going to take a step off their battleship. And we draw a card. It's another reaction card. Ooh. Well, that doesn't look like it's going to happen, because I'm not going to be within extended range of air units. So skip bombing is not going to happen. I'll discard this, and now the U.S. gets to roll to see if they're going to, they have to roll a 5 or less. Okay, so it's an intercept. Now, they don't have a headquarters that they could do much with. They could send the Asia to fight a naval battle. I think that makes sense. Now, since this is a 3 ops card, there are a lot of movement points available. I am going to try to force a battle over here. Alright, and now, and here I'm taking this in a lot of detail. I probably won't do this much, but I think it'll help both me and maybe someone else learn the game. Okay, so let's take the naval battle here. It's going to be simultaneous because it's not a surprise situation. The Japanese have a total of 30 naval points, and the U.S. has a grand total of 4. Okay. No modifiers here. So let's see what happens. So the Japanese got an 8. They're going to do 30. They easily destroy this cruiser. And I think the cruiser only does 2, which isn't going to hurt the plane or the carrier. So into the box with that. Alright. That's the air naval portion of this. But there was an interception, which I think has some effect there. And here I have an 18. I'm allowed to attack the ground unit with that. 18, and that's a 10. 5, half. I do 9 hits. That's not sufficient to damage this. So again, the Japanese are not doing well here. And now let's hit the actual ground attacks. I've got 9 against 10. That doesn't sound good. What's going in my favor, though? I'm the only one with a naval units left, but the defender is in clear. That helps. I'm the only one with air units, so I've got the +4, but the reaction player has +3. Ooh, natural 9. Not that that matters here. Okay, so 1 times damage here, he takes 3. He does 3. That's not sufficient to hurt this. But this did it 2 times, which means 18, which is going to kill that unit. And now coming up here, I have a similar situation, except the terrain is mixed. And it's not an amphibious transport. Okay, so I've only got +2 to the Japanese and +0 to the American. +2 gets me to 4. That's only 1 time. That's not going to affect this. So they still hold. That's the Japanese offensive. I get to return units. They don't have to go where they're heading. I just don't have a real good feel for where they should go. Alright, that's one operation. It's going to be the U.S. operation next. I don't know how much they're going to be able to do. I'll think about that. But we went into a lot of detail here, and I think got a better idea, as long as I'm actually following the rules, of what happens. Now, obviously, with this card, I could have played it instead as the event, but that event doesn't look useful to me. It gives me these ground fortifications in the islands. Why I don't want to do that right now? Well, I'm on the offensive. Maybe I'll get that card later when I need it. But right now, it's not key to my current goals, even if it may be more important towards winning the game in the long run. I've got to take the Philippines, and I'm going to keep throwing stuff at it. All right, I'm going to send this one up. But hopefully we're getting kind of a view of what the mechanics feel like when you're playing it. As you can see, this was a fairly big card, a 3-point card, and it was nowhere near as painful as doing all those actions of that first turn event, especially the IAI card. Okay.